Happy New Year, everyone. It's Melissa with The Creative Season, and I'm so glad to be painting with you. Our first painting of the year is bright, clear, vibrant, simple. I just wanted to start with something that was ease us into the new year. So these are very small, painted on 4x6, so it would be fun to include this in some snail mail, or maybe use as a bookmark. Add a favorite quote or a Bible verse that you want to start the new year with. I hope you really enjoy these paintings. It's going to be a beautiful year. Hey everyone, well, we're back. This is the first Paint With Me session of 2023, and I am just going to do, or we're just going to do some really simple paintings. At the end of last year, I was just really having fun just painting more simple colors as far as, kind of similar color groupings together. And I thought this one might be a fun way to start out the year. Just simple flowers in a pot, fresh, clean, looking towards the new year. I will be honest with you, I don't do a lot of even goal setting at the very, very beginning of the year. There's just so much that's happened. I like to let things settle a little bit more. But just going back to some creative practices, maybe doing some more playful things I haven't done in a while. So what I thought too is honestly too, I'm usually feeling a little bit tired, and it's stormy. It's been continually stormy. I feel like everywhere it's really stormy, whether it's snow or windstorms or rain. So I actually here wanted to do just a couple of simple paintings today. And this is a bigger one, but basically I've got just a simple cup filled with just flowers. They could be, I'm not even sure what kind of flowers these are. I was sketching them from a book, and I think they're not quite daisies, they're not zinnias, they're almost a little bit of a hybrid, almost a nice little wildflower. But you can see here I have two smaller paintings that I have created from, I just pulled out this little 4x6 watercolor pad that I have. I thought I would do a couple small ones. I might even write some quotes here and put them in some pieces of mail, letters that I'm sending this week. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I've sketched out just simple flowers. You notice I'm keeping it really simple. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start by, I'm going to just grab some blue. I have some phthalo blue on my board. I have some cerulean blue. I think I'm going to pick up this phthalo. I thought I had ultramarine. I do. But I'm going to pick up the phthalo blue, and I'm going to just start moving that around. And again, just picking really clean colors, fresh colors. I'm not even doing a lot of mixing. Again, I'm thinking about the beginning of the year, thinking about 2023. I've actually been thinking a lot about the YouTube channel, as well as some other projects I'm working for the creative season. I would like to do some live workshops. I really love teaching in person. I would love to do that this year. I'm thinking of a couple of courses that I would do both live and then in an online form, and just letting some things percolate. I've been taking lots of walks. Those are walking, getting back into getting up early. I got a little bit sloppy, you know how it goes, and when we're staying up later during the holidays, and the schedule isn't as rigorous sometimes too, and so I'm getting back into my early morning hours, which I really love. That quiet time for prayer and for doing some Bible study and doing walking or running and thinking. This is really a wonderful time of day for me. So I'm wondering too what you might be doing to start your year off of just starting fresh. If you're starting it running, or you, again, kind of easing into it. We all have obligations, right? We've got our jobs and our people in our lives that we're caring for, but how are you preparing for this year? Just notice too, as I'm painting, I may just be using one color, but still leaving a lot of white. I want to make sure that I'm letting that sense of color and shape move around here. So I'm keeping that as if the light is falling off. What I'll do too is I'm going to go ahead and grab some gamboge to put in the middle, and I'm going to start dotting that just over here. And what I'll do too is I will probably add a little bit of green in the flowers to create a different sense of color. Also, if you notice the yellow, the gamboge ekes into a little bit. I'm not too worried about that at all. Again, this is pretty loose and easy, so if you're kind of looking for a way just to kind of get your painting going again in the new year. That's the other thing, is I don't like to jump into anything that feels like too much pressure or too strenuous in the beginning of the year either. it's cold, right? And everything seems to take a little bit more effort when it's so cold. And when the sun is just not out. I was joking with someone the other day, it feels like we're turning into Oregon or or something like that, because we in California, we've had a drought for so long, and we've had days upon days of rain, and that's been such a blessing. It's so needed. And at the same time, we're also just not used to the consistent rain, so we're having to gird up, kind of like, I have this funny little sticker that says put your positive pants on, and it just kind of energizes up. I think that's the thing is, the sun brings with it a sense of energy and kind of a go. And without that sun rising, it just takes a little bit more of a mental stamina, right? To say, okay, we're going to keep doing the things we need to do. And more importantly, sometimes the things that we know are important to do, but are not, no one notices if you don't do them, except for you sometimes, right? Okay, you notice I got a little bit of yellow there, that gamboge. I'm just going to, just kind of working out, just, really rhythmic, right? This is very rhythmic. And I kind of love that beginning of the year. I love doing some rhythms, because when I'm feeling a little bit, maybe even a little tired, not as creative, not as, the ideas aren't coming, to go back to a practice, just to go back to doing what you know to do, and knowing that it is going to, those ideas, the freshness, it will come. It absolutely will come. I'm doing a little bit of play here. This is all just really good. I do believe that the discipline of continually working at your craft, your practice, or just continuing the habit of creating for fun really does help in so many areas of life and keeps us fresh. And so many times too, it is when I'm doing what I think is just the mundane, to a certain extent, of painting again, is just practicing, creating another video, which seems just part of routine, right? But then you'll have an idea and just the most interesting moments. So continuing on here, again, I do love the color of the green and blue. It speaks of spring, but the freshness of these colors too, also the freshness of a new year. And again, no pressure to think of what we're going to do, but just also the loveliness of what is to come. Okay, and doing my little plants here and just doing a very gentle stem. A little baby leaves on these, these guys aren't too leafy. These sweet little flowers, and going right into here. I've got one here, and two, what we'll do, I'm going to come back in and we'll end up adding a little bit of shadow. I'm going to move over to this guy next, but before I do, I want to take that gamboge color and I'll just outline my line right here, and I'm going to move over where doing a little bit of shadowing. I don't want to touch and get green, but even see where those flowers are, and even let's do a little shadow of where the shadow would be falling on the table where the sun or that shadow hits there. And so I'm just going to move over here now, and I'm going to use the same colors, but we're going to go ahead and do them a little bit differently here. I am going to take the gamboge, and I'm going to go ahead and create, this guy's going to be, our little pot will be yellow. And just moving, or gamboge, use a cadmium, a lemon yellow. But again, we're not doing too much mixing, just using the colors pretty clear, just kind of representing the clarity of the new year. Everything's fresh, everything's super clean. And again, I'm not letting coloring in, I'm leaving some white spot as well, white spots. Now I'm going to grab I think these flowers, we're also going to make them, we're actually going to do yellow on yellow, so I'm going to start creating these petals up here, and I think we will do blue centers, just to do something a little bit different. Now the blue will definitely create, if it merges, it's going to create a significant greenish into the petals. So what we might want to do is, before we go too much farther, is let's pick up some blue, and we will just go ahead and dab all of our centers, and then we'll let them dry for just a second while we continue to add on in the other colors. And then what I'm going to do as well is the blue will be down here. I'll make the table blue or the tablecloth. We'll do some shadowing. Again, making sure not to get too close to my gamboge where it turns into green on the table. And a little bit over here as well. And then I'm going to pick up some green. And you can decide which color combination you like better, right? There's lots of different ways to do it. It's fun to see how many different combinations you can create with just a couple of colors. And I got a little bit of green in there, and that's okay. I think I have a stem right here. And you can always sketch, of course, in pencil. The green is a little bit easier to see. I'm sorry, not the green. The Micron Pen's easier to see with the video, which is why I often use it. Let me grab a paper towel here. We'll come back and just dab this little guy in. There we go. And then I'm going to pick up that yellow. And again, this is going to have a very different look because there's a lot of yellow. Just moving that around. And you know, with the yellow, if I decided, oh, I want to do a different color, let's just say I wanted to do blue, for example, you could easily, well, I'm sorry, you couldn't. It would turn green, actually. We could add blue, and it would be a really brilliant green, which would be really pretty. So this will be dominant yellow, just like the other one is dominant blue, but with that blue and green. But again, sometimes my mom, for one, she loves yellow. Her kitchen is just a gorgeous, all yellow, and it is such a happy color. Sometimes we need a lot of yellow in the winter time, right? It's that reminder that it's winter now, but spring is absolutely coming. And just moving around, moving this around. I'm trying, where are we time-wise? Oh, it's 11 minutes. So great. So this is too, if you are just needing like a few minutes of a breather, might be fun thing to do. If you're like me and I meant to get out like thank you letters and just some, I didn't get down all my Christmas cards done, so I'm just sending out some, just wonder, how are you? Happy New Year cards. And I'm going to maybe slip a few of these in. There's my other blue right there. I do love the blue and the yellow together, right? It is super, super pretty. We really don't have a lot of green going on, but that's okay. This ended up being just a green and blue. And if we wanted to do splatters, we totally could. I'm going to pick up some gamboge here, a little bit more on these petals, and just kind of let it sit. Again, I'm not mixing too many colors today. We could go darker and deeper by adding in a bit of pink or a bit of orange, but today I just want to keep everything, start the new year clean, bright, fresh, nice and warm, just real bright and warm. So no matter how cold it is where you are, how wet or rainy, I just hope that you're having a wonderful start to your new year. I'm going to come back over here on this side, and then again over here where you realize, oh, that yellow sunk in. I'm just going to do a little bit of blue. Watercolor always dries lighter than when we put it down, so one way to emphasize shadowing or just different parts that you want darker, just come back in and add another layer. I'm going to come back over here, maybe just moving around some of the different areas of my petals. Maybe just around the yellow where I was a little bit nervous to before because I didn't want those colors to blend. Maybe just even outlining some. And if you want to do some splattering, that could look really pretty, especially with the white. You might just want to leave it clean too, just depending on what you're feeling. I missed a petal here, so I'm going to go back over here. Create there, right over there. Okay, now I am just about done. I think with this one too, I am going to do just a few little splatters. We're going to go ahead, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do some green splatters and write real light ones right up here, and since over here too. I'll just do, they're pretty light, they're pretty small, but just for the sake of splattering a little fun in the new year, right? Now I have so much yellow over here, I think what I'll do is I'm going to actually grab some blue and we'll do some blue splatters here. Not very many, I'm keeping it pretty light today. And a few more green right here. And if you notice anything got a little bit too much on the actual painting, like right here, I can just go back in here. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow there, or maybe some of that shadowing might be anyways. And we're going to just deepen that color up. And then I'll pull my blue down here to make a little bit darker blue. And that looks lovely. I think these are beautiful, they're fun, they're easy. You could do them in all sorts of colors. and just a wonderful way to start the new year. Happy 2023. So excited for what's in store for all of us. Lots more plans and painting to come. I'll see you guys next week.